Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our audience. Welcome to episode number 18 of the Growth and Podcast series. And we are joined by Mohan Gulati of ThinkRR all the way from British Columbia, a beautiful British Columbia, I may add. And so for our first time audience, just so you know, this series is focused on conversations with AI and SaaS founders about their journey. And we'll start off with guest introductions and then dive into their company background, current industry trends that they're seeing, and they'll tell us a little bit about their platform. And then we'll talk about what's working well, what's been challenging, their near-term and long-term goals, and that'll pretty much take us through the end of the podcast. So without further ado, welcome, Mohan. How are you doing?
Doing great, thanks. It's really a pleasure to be here, I'm excited to get started. So, like you said,
Awesome.
we're 25 years of experience in various different roles in technology, but I think I've been an entrepreneur even before that. I started off being an entrepreneur as a child, working at my parents' video store, and then eventually the grocery store, and then eventually starting up my own ventures as a young adult. So I've been doing that for a while and always had that business mindset. So when I got into software engineering and started doing that, I naturally geared myself towards solving problems and solving solutions. So I call myself a problem solver who loves not just dreaming, but realizing solutions that make the world better. And that's kind of the thinker, as we pronounce it, thinker, not thinker. But it's good that mention that because people then know
Thank you.
that the spelling is double R. The ER was not available. So thinker.ai is how we pronounce it. And it's really how we started this company up, is how it came into fruition, is through a similar journey of envisioning what solutions can do, understanding problems that existed, and daring to take a risk and start creating something that we were probably ahead of our time. But as you can tell now, the market is flooded with a lot of solutions in a similar space, and we continue to differentiate and stand out. And I'm happy to talk you through what we're doing and what it all means.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with regards to that, right? Congrats on the journey and just, being a market leader in this space. So we'd love to know if you want to define your niche and tell us a little bit about your platform, whether it's voice AI for sales avatars, or of course, you're proud of most things that you guys are doing.
Yeah, sure. So we have like a couple of different core groups. We have two offerings right now, actually three if you look at our website. The first offering is really geared towards an agency user. So an agency user could be a marketing agency user, could be anybody who has a team of people that they work to, or a team of clients that they resell to. So kind of a reseller approach. And we work with them to provide them with our software solution, our SaaS product, which is focused on voice AI. So we make it possible for you to do inbound calling, outbound calling, and then also to enable your website to be able to become a smart website that can speak and talk to your clients and prospects and understand your services. And there's so many different things that we're doing. The use cases are abundant, especially when you start working with agencies who need a platform that's flexible, that's super simple to use, right? So our users are not technical. They're the opposite. They're completely anti-technical. And their need is, how do I build something that scale? Because I have a lot of customers. I want to be able to resell this, but I don't want to be bogged down being technical support. I don't want to be bogged down being
Yep.
customer support. How do I build something, use something, and leverage something that can really uh, support my business in a way that I am outcome driven and I'm getting results? So that was like the core audience that we've been working with for the last, I would say, year and a half to 2 years.
Okay.
We also work directly with businesses. So it's a lot of businesses that come directly to us, financial advisors, real estate agents, dentistries, and so on. What we are now migrating into, and I'm excited to talk about that here, is pharmacies.
Amazing.
So yeah, so we are building a brand new experience. We've already launched for pharmacies to help them with refilling their prescriptions, right? So patients calling in, and
Mhm.
we have achieved astronomical results already in just a few months of being live. Pharmacies get a lot of calls. In fact, some of the high volume calls, pharmacies get up to 600 calls a day.
Wow.
Right? And when you got
That's
600 calls
crazy.
coming a day and you have to think of how you staff that and support, and the majority of those calls are for refills, right? So now We've taken that on, and we're seeing about 67 to 70% of calls that our AI is handling on behalf of the pharmacies and refilling those prescriptions. So that means they have finally the moment of silence on the calls.
Wow.
Like they're in the
Yeah.
pharmacy, they're actually able to work and do things without having to answer these calls because all of the prescriptions are getting auto connected to their backend systems and the prescriptions are coming in queued properly and processed. And the clients are happy because they're getting in record time and getting their medications refilled. And they don't need to remember the complex RX number. Of course, if you have it, it expedites the
Sure.
process. But
Sure.
we even took it to the next level, which is like, if you just can tell us your name and your birth date, we can validate you and take that. And then we have full list of all of their prescriptions. We can handle that.
Sure.
It's pretty cool.
So you match phone numbers as well, I take it, that they're
Absolutely.
calling from. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, lots of different ways in which we've processed that, but it's actually a lot more difficult to enter. And we got lucky in a way that we got great partners. So we've been building this product with pharmacies for the pharmacies, right?
Got it.
So it's a very different experience when you create a product that is driven by real use cases and high volume use cases, right? So you're getting all of the feedback, you're knowing what's working. There are so many edge cases. And I think that's our competitive edge. I think that's why we're ready to disrupt this space. There's already a backlist of people that want to get onto this product. It's a very good problem to have as we're starting to scale this out and offer this to more and more clients, more and more pharmacies.
Oh, amazing. I didn't know that something like this is out there for an industry that has such high call volumes just overall.
I mean, so solutions that are out there are far and few in between, and our own competitive knowledge and research has told us that they can't even scratch the surface of what we do today, right? That we're that much more superior because a lot of those people are moving off of those platforms. So
Yes.
it's a great place to be in. We knew how to work. Being from a software background, being a
Yeah.
product-minded leader, and working with a team of people to understand that, that gave us that advantage. And then we got really great pharmacies partners that wanted to work with us. So all the things aligned. So you're right. There's not that many solutions out there. And as we're starting to work with independent pharmacies, it's also understanding how they work. So independent pharmacies are mostly owned by different age bracket, right? And they're not you would think technology savvy, but ironically, they're very open to solutions that solve real problems. And we have the challenge of making our solution really easy to understand. And it's a very referral based industry. So if they hear great results, their ears perk up, they want to hear it, they're open to it, they're not closed minded, and they understand. They're very patient because they're already having to be patient dealing with the number of calls that they're getting, right? So this is a great match for what AI can do. And we're just getting started. Like we're solving the patient use cases, but the next is the doctors calling in and getting new patients into the pharmacy, giving new prescriptions. We see a whole slew, including insurance calls, flu season calls, leveraging AI for that. And then we're tailing this with also another niche that we're slowly starting to work with, which is health clinics, right?
Okay.
So both of these kind of go hand in hand, and we're working very much focused on the pharmacies for now, but with an eye on what are the right use cases that we can leverage this existing capacity that we're in.
Yeah, for sure. Like in our last chat, you had mentioned something about the exciting experience you had working with some of your customers hands on while on your visit to Cancun, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about some of those features, follow ups, booking appointments,
So
workflow automations.
100%. Yeah. Let me talk to you about like what we experienced. And again, this is all about understanding relationships, right? So we were in the AI Unleashed event, which is focused for an agency audience that works primarily in a SaaS platform called Go High Level, which is a marketing platform that also serves as a CRM, has automations. It's kind of your Swiss Army knife of different things that you
Yep.
can do. Large audience. I think they have something like 200,000 users on the platform. It's massive, and a lot of agency owners. So as we look at this, it was a very natural event for us to go to. And when we were there, we we showed them our solution and how we natively integrate and enhance the GHL platform. We have built the most simplest onboarding experience to onboard your clients. When we showed that to them, that they could have a voice agent ready and prepared in under 30 seconds. This is not an exaggeration. In under 30 seconds, and they're speaking to it right away. Their eyes just like lit up. Like that was all I had to do. And I could like have a voice agent. And think of it from an experience of an agency owner, right? An agency owner
Sure.
wants to be able to like share with a client on a call what the product could look and be like for them. The fact that they can create that agent within 30 seconds, do that live, and then literally give them a very personalized and tailored experience is the most powerful tool that we could have built. And that same tool is used to leverage them to onboard, to recreate, to enhance. We've added a co-pilot, voice creating voice. And this is
Yep.
the best way I can describe it.
Yep.
Nobody else has something quite like this. It's very unique, very streamlined, very optimized, and it's just been a huge, success. So when we were there in Cancun, one of the things that I experienced being with them hands-on was I sat down with one gentleman and I said, "Okay, let's build you a voice agent." So I sat with him, talked to him, gave him a little orientation. 5 minutes later, he had an agent that he had created for his particular prospect that he was looking at. He closed that prospect that night,
Awesome. That's
right?
amazing. And this was with his voice
With that
print and
5 minute
everything?
work we did, yeah. Right. So that's like powerful stories, right? And then we started to work on other use cases and then so on and so forth. So and then another gentleman that was there actually built 5 different voice agents at the same time and sent them out to all 5 different prospects getting appointments booked the same day. So again, the speed at which you can operate and work becomes part of the story here. Understanding that again has come through working with agencies. So look, agencies is a hard place to crack. Once you've got MMR and you've got, agencies working, clients under your belt, it's great, but then you're working really hard to retain them because you're probably doing too much for them, right? This solves that problem, right? We are a tool that adds a lot of value, does not take a lot of your time as an agency owner, right? We've made it super simple to do these things so that you can spend more time in the relationship and building your business and scaling it out.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
also, to be very fair, that's also to our advantage because then you stay with us longer too, right? So that's the whole kind of, if we solve real problems, we solve real pain points, that's good. The other thing that was really popular there was minute management. Nobody thinks about this. It's one of those like non-sexy features, but we allow you to resell and do a surcharge on minutes, but your clients are being charged, not you're being charged. We allow you to auto allocate minutes on a monthly basis so that you can set up like a real tier and subscription package for your clients that's tailored to whatever you want to do in your pricing strategy. And then, of course, being able to move those minutes around as well if you have multiple clients is a huge advantage. And then the other thing that was really popular with a lot of our clients is the simplicity in which you can create outbound campaigns. So we are one of the few, if not the only, platform that allows you to have unrestricted outbound calling as long as you follow legal compliance. So in other words, that as long as your jurisdiction and what you need to follow, but we don't put artificial restrictions on you. We don't limit daily call
Sure.
capacities. We don't limit you from, doing multiple calls to the same person the same day. All that's in there. But we are putting intelligence into our platform for things like auto detection of do not call,
Sure.
of spam calls, of all those things. And that's kind of where the R&D of our platform is going.
Yeah, those are definitely important constraints because every state has different guidelines, and you could get in some trouble if you just unleash an outbound agent.
I think there's a lot of caution. I think there's a lot of education that's going on
Yeah,
right now. People are
yeah,
understanding that. I find most people understand you have to work with warm contacts, not cold contacts.
right,
But if you're good with your marketing practices, you're gonna have a very warm database. You're gonna have people that you're emailing on a regular basis, using newsletters, reaching out to, educating on your different services that you offer. So adding, outbound calling and setting up appointments is really a next extension. Let me give you an example. If you are a financial advisor, one of the practices that you need to do from a legal perspective is you need to meet and update them at least once a year, sometimes multiple times a year. With GHL and or an automation platform, you can automate that and have an outbound call that goes schedules that on autopilot. So you're meeting with your repertoire of clients without having to remember to schedule with them because it's being done for you on your behalf. And then you're having your calendar fill up with all those annual review meetings. Those annual review meetings are great customer building moments, but they're also sales opportunities, right? Because there are things that are missing from their package, there are things that they need to do. So this is where we see the opportunities. We see it like really helping you do your business better.
Sure. That being said, what is the roadmap for 2026 and beyond look like?
Man. So I mean, obviously, like I've given you a little bit of a sneak peek into that. We talked about the pharmacies. I think that's going to be a big part of our focus in terms of like where we're going to invest a lot more of our time. In the agency world, we're really honing in on the serious agency owner, right? So we're looking for partnering and building a platform that enables them to really be able to at scale ramp up. This is the opportunity, right? This is a time
Right.
with AI, with everything that's going on right now, if you have an inkling as an entrepreneur and you want to start something up, you want a minimal team to do that, and you want to have the right, you're going to want to use our platform because our platform enables that. Right. And a lot of the features that you'll see is like the spam detection. Right. Then, like, what we're doing is because we're not horizontally wide in terms of our focus. We're very, very vertical, very focused on that voice experience. You're gonna bring out amazing features like memory, empathy, a data that is going to give you a competitive edge over anybody else, right? These are the things that we're working on. We're adding this really, really cool um, layer of intelligence to our platform called Chat with Campaigns. It really chat with any of your agents where you can get intelligence about your calls, what's going on. You can talk to it
Yes.
just like you would normally, chat with it, something, and it will give you how your chat your campaign worked, what's not working, what you could do different, and then leveraging our copilot, we want to create experience that seamlessly just update your agent and starts working on autopilot. So really, you can just leave it and let it do everything for you.
Nice. That's great. Do you want to talk about any of your integrations, like Zendesk and FreshBooks, etc.? Just so those of our listeners that are using these tools or others can kind of gear up for
Absolutely. Yeah.
this
So
stuff.
we ourselves, let me start off our journey a little bit and tell you how we went through the journey of customer support because it's every business goes through it, especially when you're starting up. So initially, I was customer support. My co-founder was customer support. You're getting all these calls. You're doing everything from building the company to sales to customer support, and it's at a low volume. That's fine. But then as we grew, we had to hire people to kind of start doing that. We built different tools. We built a community to do that. We thought, oh, we're gonna put help documentation. That's gonna be great. People can read the help documentation. We even like had something that was a combination of like once a week a call where people could ask us questions and stuff like that. Guess what was our number one problem last June? There was that we were scaling too fast, adding more clients, and we couldn't give great customer support.
You're growing faster than the support you were offering. Yeah.
Pretty much. So
Yeah.
of course you could say, okay, well, hire more people. Well,
Good
we did.
problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. But we also realized that part of it was also like transparency and using existing systems. So we were trying to use like custom made ticketing solution because we thought we don't need to spend extra money, cut corners. We moved over to Freshdesk like the next day. This is an endorsement for whether it's Zendesk or Freshdesk. Use the solutions that's already out there. Don't try to recreate the wheel. Don't solve problems that you don't
Right.
need to solve. As an entrepreneur, we do that, right? We think, oh, we can do everything ourselves, right? But sometimes you need to leverage what's already there. Freshdesk had a great customer portal, had all the things that we needed. It just made everything much, much simpler, right? So we use Freshdesk and things have been going good, but we were seeing again another spike and a lot of customers. And yes, I was scaling up resourcing. I thought there has to be a better way to do this. And we're a voice AI company. How do we do this ourselves? So we built a help desk. There's a voice agent that you can speak to. that can leverage our thinker documentation, but it's also been trained and educated on how to like be very human like navigate people to different parts of the screen, talk to them as if they're clicking on things, provide them really that same kind of experience you get if you're talking to a customer rep, right? That agent did phenomenal. But then we also added, yeah, I'll tell you the metrics in a second. But then we also added the ability to create a ticket on the call. If it couldn't answer the question, it had the full context, so it could do it for them. And then
Yeah.
if it did call back, it could also give them an update on their ticket and it could tell them the status of it. Or update the notes of the ticket too if there was something new additional context that needed to be added to the ticket. We've seen the number of tickets and then the processing time, like the number of tickets went down by 50% since we went live with this. It's crazy. Like the
Wow.
agent performs that well. And then with the integration with the backend of Freshdesk, we're now seeing an NPS score for people who know where their tickets are that is about 2 times better than it was before. So that
Pretty good.
well, yeah, so we're seeing like real positive return. So we're taking this product and this is part of the roadmap, and we're going to make it available to all of our customers who are using Freshdesk and Zendesk. So they'll be able to add that to their repertoire, build their
Uh-huh.
own help desks, and launch them for their business. We put it also on our website. So it's a web widget that people can talk to and speak to it, or they can call in that phone number and that could be your tier 1 support. We already support like call transfers. So there's escalations. You can do that as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds amazing. Since you talked about metrics, what metrics are you most focused on improving?
I think as a SaaS founder, you kind of have the same common metrics that you're always thinking about. You're thinking about um, growth rate. You're thinking about churn rate. You're thinking about um, probably those are the two big ones that I think the most about. And then I follow the KPI of like NPS customer score, right? I really watch that very carefully. So those are three things that I keep an eye on to make sure that
Yeah.
they tell me what's going on in my organization. There's also an internal KPIs that I look at, which are employee satisfaction rates and how they're doing. So I do a lot of conversations. We practice something called radical candor in our organization.
Hmm.
Have you heard of that?
No, tell us about that.
Yeah, so Radical Candor is it's a book, first of all, that was I didn't come up with it. It's coined, it's been out there for a long time. And the practice of radical candor is around providing meaningful feedback in real time, not waiting for a review, but it's also meant to be feedback that is constructive and meant to help the person actually get better. So it's not like mincing your words or kind of telling them half. It's very direct conversation, but it's
Sure.
also like it can be both constructive in a sense of something they could do differently or improve on when you observed it, or it could be something that is, hey, you did that well, and let them know right away, right? So
Yeah.
this practice of radical candor has really been something that's part of our culture. Everybody practices it. We even do kudos every Monday morning. It's like we just get on a call and everybody will like we have a 15-minute all hands, and the last 5 minutes of it is kudos, where people will,
Nice.
recognize because we don't believe that feedback should be, saved for 3 months down the road at a performance review.
Correct.
You
Top
should kind of
down or yeah.
and also, like, think about it, like, context-wise. If I just went and, I was doing a demo, product demo, or I was, implementing something, them hearing the feedback right away has a bigger imprint, and they're able to absorb that and then do that. The other thing, if you've read the book Netflix, No Rules Rules, is a framework called the 4 A's, and part of the 4 A's, which I've kind of blended these 2 things together, is acceptance, the last one. So any kind of feedback that you give, the individual always retains the right to accept that feedback or not to accept that
Sure.
feedback. And that's
Correct.
something that you have to respect as part of this practice, right? So just because I saw something in a certain way and I tried to, even if I framed it in a way where it is meant to help them do something better, get better at their job, or even tell them to do it, they're always going to have the last decision.
Yeah.
Right? And I think this culture that we built, like with people staying in our company, being happy, going above and beyond, excelling, because look, when people work in a startup, it's not easy, right? We're all
Yeah, for
working
sure.
long days. There's a lot going on, but the passion has to be there. And I think when you get high performing people, they want to know how they're doing. They want that feedback and they want to work. I'm the same way. I love
Absolutely.
radical. So
Yeah.
well,
No, I hear you and totally agree. I didn't know that there was a name to it, but it's similar to what I've practiced in the past when I've had a team and I've just talked to them about we could make these small changes and achieve this other outcome. What do you think about that? It's more of a two-way, and also tell me what more do you need from your leadership? And so for sure.
um, I just want to go back a little bit to like the metrics conversation because you brought it up. I know I deviated a little bit. When you're in the world of SaaS, and your audience is primarily SaaS here, so I want to add value to this conversation. You need to really think about a number of things, right? A SaaS company is always going to be doing two things. You're going to be trying to add more customers faster than you are going to be losing them, right? Because eventually customers churn. And your challenge is to keep it really low and to add immediate value. So this is like strategically speaking, where you ask yourself the question, what is the problem you're solving, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I started off this conversation, I talked about agency owners. Agency owners churn like a bad faucet that's leaking. They don't stick,
Mm.
especially if they're living a dream. Because a lot of people, if they come in and they're like, "Hey, I want to make $100,000, and I want to start my own company up, and the best way to do that is I'm going to become a SaaSpreneur." Okay, great. Go and do that. Sounds wonderful. Then they go and try to do it and they can't sell. Or they sell, they got two clients and then one churns and they have to like cancel you because they don't have money. So like these are real like situations. So what we've done is we've hyper focused on who's the persona of the agency that we can help the most.
Mhm.
Right? Because if we try to help everybody, we can't. But if we focus on who we
Sure.
can help is the person who has an established business or investing and understands it's going to take time to build that
Yep.
business and has the patience and the financial fortitude to go through that, right? We can help them a lot. And we've doubled down on that audience and we've seen our churn rate decrease. And that's, again, the science of running a SaaS is not hard in that way, right? You got to solve a problem. And then pricing is a big part of it too. Understanding where you want to be on a pricing strategy is critical to running a successful SaaS company.
For sure. Talk to us a little bit about industry trends. I know earlier you said that you guys are just fortunate to do this before everybody else jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
With regards to that, or even after, right? What do you know? What do you make of the industry trends that you're seeing? Where do you think ThinkRR is a good fit for some of the gaps beyond just what the solution does and how it fits into the inbound, outbound, taking the human out of the loop, or
When we first started launching Voice AI, the feedback that everybody kind of said, "Oh, I don't know if people will like getting calls from AI. I don't know if they're going to actually interact with it. They're going to be scared, or they're not going to like it. They want to talk to me because I'm a human. This is not going to work for my business." And that is disappearing. That objection.
good,
People are realizing that this is inevitable. I mean,
right?
here's the number one. You can go on record and you can record this and you can put this on your every business within the next 6 to 18 months is going to have a voice AI receptionist.
Yeah,
It's just going to be like, and the question is, are you the one providing that or not?
sure. And
Right?
not if, it's when,
When? It's not an
right?
if, when. So that is such a clear mission statement, if nothing
Yeah,
else, right? So we know that the trend is going to be this. This is where people are moving. It's not just, and I really don't think the word trend is right. I think the word is shift, right?
yeah,
Now, what does this enable? Well, all of a sudden, it enables you to be more efficient, to be more timely, to provide better customer experiences,
yes,
to, improve your time management, and ultimately have a better quality of life, right?
yeah,
So we see this as a huge shift. The other thing that's happening is people are starting to see voice AI use cases that are not just front office use cases, but back office use cases.
mm,
Okay. Now, back office use cases are really interesting. Think of you're in the world of training people.
hmm,
One of the big roles is I want to train salespeople. Well, you can use our platform to create sales coaches.
interesting. Yeah,
And now you can have your sales team that comes on and onboards have a very, very clear way to do that. I'll give you an example. The financial industry is, I think, what, 2 million large in US alone, right? It's a big audience, and there's always new agents coming on, and they need to be trained, and part of the training programs are often driving house to house or meeting clients in person and going through literally 50 to 60 hours of actually being in um, a live conversation with an agent to feel comfortable to be able to present the products that you have to pitch and
Yep.
sell and provide because of the authority that you need to understand, the complexity of it, whatnot. Imagine being able to simulate those with a voice AI agent, and it provides you with feedback how you're doing immediately. These are back office use cases that people don't think of immediately that are actually becoming more and more prevalent.
Or even one, if we consider a personal type of voice assistant, right? Instead of a voicemail mailbox, you have somebody that's like, "Hey, I'm Mohan's assistant.
Yep.
Either he's a little tied up right now, but I can help if there's something you need, or if you're just looking to set up a
Yep.
time with him."
That's definitely the receptionist role, but take it to the next level. So go internal, right? And this is what we call our virtual assistant.
Yeah,
So this is Mohan's virtual assistant. So instead of Mohan, and it understands my CRM, it understands my systems. And if I say, I've got a meeting with Ian this afternoon, can you just email him and tell him I can't make it and reschedule it for me? That's something you would tell to, your
your
secretary,
secretary. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, or your virtual assistant, as we want to call it. And because it intimately understands your data, your
Yep.
way of working, that's where the
Yep.
memory part comes into play. Now we can start to build those kind of experiences. So I think that's going to be something that you'll see. I think that that's going to be more, it'll start to emerge. You'll hear people talk about it. You see like Clawbot coming out and people talking about it. It's because it kind of fulfills on that. If you can take the risk and use it, there's a lot there that you can, start getting into. But I think that in a safer environment, it's about providing something that you're comfortable, has access to your data, and can do those very, very impactful and powerful things that you need it to do.
For sure. For sure. Now, such interesting use cases. I know we can talk about this for forever. As far as ThinkRR as a business goes, what's working well for you and what's been a challenge? I guess let's start with the good stuff first.
I mean, we're fortunate enough that, we got started relatively um, early. As I said, we went to market fast. We practiced agile development. So we built our tech on a platform that enabled us to go to market fast. That didn't scale. So we've put a lot of effort in our tech and leveraging it. We built this platform on a technology that allowed us to go to market fast. So we built on some no code platforms. And what we did is we realized that doesn't scale, right? So we have now moved to platform and technology stack that allows us to scale fast. And that is working really, really well for us because now we're able to leverage AI development. We can use those techniques that allow us to basically maximize each one of our engineers. So each one of our engineers has now become X more productive because they can do that, right? And even our product team, the way they do, you know, requirements has changed and how they're communicating. It's the ratio of dev to product is an interesting one. Those lines are getting blurred. So it's a
Yeah.
very, very interesting dynamic. I think we're doing that really well. And I just feel immensely proud about how strong the platform is, how intuitive the platform is, the simplicity, the feedback we're getting. It's working really, really well. Right. Areas that I want to still say is better, but needs to improve still is our hyper focus on solving problems, real problems.
Yep.
There's too much of this kind of like, flashy new feature thing like widgets, see, and they think of it like a gimmick. I think the struggle that people have, especially business owners today, is practically understanding how do I use this? How do I start today? If I start using this, I had to talk about the use cases, put it in my system, get it working. I wanted just to do this without me having to know how to do it. Do you know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
Right.
and
Right.
that magical moment is still something we're trying to crack in a way that is so, so intuitive that without even knowing it, you have it and it's working for you. And I think we're very much on our way there, but I think that that's where I want to still get better and better and better.
Yeah. I know. It's like the gold rush happening all over again, right? Everybody wants a piece of the pie.
But that's the problem. Everybody is thinking about AI. And that's what we did too. Like we were fully transparent. That's how we got like AI this, got to be an AI company. We even put our company name here. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have to solve real
Real
problems.
world problems.
If you don't solve real world problems, the gimmicks, the features, the AI word is
Correct.
not going to do anything for you. It's going to be just another one of those buzzwords that camouflage. You have to solve real problems. You have to change. You have to transform.
The AI that solves problems is going to stay, or should I say the AI that solves the problems in the least uh, time bound and with the least cost will end up surviving.
So I'm going to date myself a little bit. I was the one of the early adopters that worked at a company called Research in Motion.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
BlackBerry,
yeah.
right?
I,
And I was like, I adopted phone technology, mobile technology. What happened was when you start creating shifting technology, like I think the invention of the mobile phone was a shift in how we all think and operate, right? Bing, oh, you got one. Okay, there you go.
I've kept a
That's
relic from
crazy. That's crazy. So,
back in the day.
I worked also at Nokia. Now you can pull out a Nokia phone. So the intention here is when a technology is so seamless and so shifting, you stop talking about the technology, your behavior changes. So when the mobile phone came out, the expectation was you're always reachable. You can always be contacted. Now it's like if I call somebody, they don't pick up the phone. It's like, you don't want to talk to me? What's happening? Like, you don't think maybe they can't pick up the phone, they're not reachable. The expectation is there, the behavior has changed. That would not have been the case when I was growing up and you had to call someone on the landline. You understood they may not be home. They may be outside. They might be doing X, Y, Z. You couldn't always get in touch with them. And you'd even plan out, I'm going to call you at 5:30. Is that okay? Those things have completely changed. Same thing is going to happen with AI. Nobody's going to be talking about AI anymore. Behavior is going to change. They're going to
Yep.
expect that I'm going to show up to a meeting and you're going to be there. And if you can't be there, you would have not, I would have known. They're going to expect that you're going to be automatically trained on whatever it is you're going to do. So these things are, and AI is a very, very powerful tool. And I bet you, Ian,
Yeah.
that in a couple of years, people are going to say, why are you asking me that question? Don't you already know that about me? I mean, didn't you do your
Right.
research? Like, didn't you ask your assistant about, what I did? Like, it's a different way of thinking. It's going to be like, we don't know what the change in behavior is going to be. I'm going to say something very controversial that may not resonate with everybody. I'll just say it. Like, I don't think education, the way it is today, is going to keep up. Like we have to see a shift in that. People going to the classroom and getting graded on ways that haven't changed in the last 150 to 200 years just makes no goddamn sense to me. So it's going to change. The expectations are going to change. Professors are going to expect different things from students. Students are going to learn differently. It's just the whole experience of how you get trained for the workforce is going to change. And the jobs that are out there are going to change. I mean, my daughter's graduating from university and she's like, Dad, there's no jobs out there. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to learn what it is that this world is moving towards. And, she's a smart cookie. She'll figure it out. But that's the challenge in front of us. Like we are now where entry level jobs don't exist anymore. So how
Correct.
do you get students educated, prepared, and ready to go into a workforce where there is no learning curve. There is no time to ramp up. You have to perform. You have to be somehow adding value. How do you
Yep.
do that?
It's almost akin to us having when we were growing up, right? We're in similar age range. When we were growing up, we would have to go to the library or figure out a database to search to get our material for submissions and projects or whatever. Today's kids have no concept of that. And so availability of information is so easy. And so that translates into what you just said. Knowledge management has become its own animal.
The idea that I can test somebody and give them a grade and they graduate with this degree and that somehow means that they're going to get a job and be able to financially support themselves, which is completely off the mark right now.
Yeah.
People need to be able to do a function. They need to be able to be creative enough to do a function. We need to rethink that. And that's That's an awesome problem to crack, right? So
Yeah, for sure. In terms of challenges, can you discuss any challenges that are currently that you guys are currently facing? Whether it's balancing your ease of use with the demand for done for you services, as you mentioned, simplicity is becoming the norm, and it makes clients question the need for additional help.
I'm thinking through because I've already talked about a lot of these things with you, and I guess it doesn't resonate. It is it's really, really hard. People are excited. They want to
Hmm.
use this technology. They want to understand how to use it. But the expectation that people have is that it'll just work. Just, it will not, it's going to be perfect. It's going to not make problems. It's not going to make mistakes. It's not going to hallucinate. It's not going to do X, Y, Z. I need it to do exactly this. The truth is that human beings make more mistakes than AI does, but AI has a bad rep.
Yeah, for sure.
So, there's this kind of like unrealistic expectation, and it's a problem because you have to really be good at baselining people and setting their expectations right. Like you're still an early adopter. Anybody who thinks they've missed the boat is you're still on the right part of the curve. Okay, there's still that moment where you can get on, but like anybody listening to this who hasn't yet fully embraced what's going on here, it's time to do that. It's time to now move your business, move your expertise, start educating yourself. Most people use AI as a search bot. Most people are using AI to just do Google.
Yep.
They're
Answer engine optimization, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, they're not getting it, right? So, there's a whole big world of what AI unlocks for you, and I would say less than 1% of the population really still understands that.
Yeah, very true. Can we talk about a little bit about, hey, what does your ideal customer look like? Whether it's, these guys that are using it for their small businesses, HVAC, roofers, plumbers, or other examples that you've come across that you've helped.
I think it's the agency owners.
That is your ICP,
Yeah,
pretty
so,
much. Got it.
we've really focused on them. We are focused on businesses as well, but to a lesser degree, and the businesses that we are focusing on are the ones that I mentioned. The pharmacies off the top is really the one that, if I'm gonna tell you who is our ICP, if we have 2 ICPs, is agencies and pharmacies. Those are the 2 that we're yeah.
Yeah. When we talked a couple weeks ago, um, I, you totally took me today by surprise when you said pharmacy. I was like, holy crap, I didn't even think about that. And
Okay.
then yeah. And so,
I guess I didn't wanna let the cat out of the bag. It was still like, I mean, we launched
yeah,
in December with our first pharmacy, and now we're live with 2, going to be 3 very soon, and the goal is to be up to 15 before the end of March, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
yeah. Um, just one. This is going to be a fun one. So, if you had a magic wand to fix one thing in your business that's holding you back or slowing you down, what would it be?
I mean, look, sales is the growth of every company. So if I had a magic wand, I would have the sales agent that could speak eloquently and articulate clearly and close every deal. That would be my magic wand. Because we're talking to such great people that there's never been a better moment. I'm going to say this as um, humbly as I possibly can without sounding egotistical, but we have the best platform. It's so much easier to use than anything out there. If you are a non-technical user, i.e., you're not a developer, and you want to use a voice AI solution, just check out our platform. You'll see it yourself. It's that easy to use. I'm that confident in what we're built, and I'm bold enough to say that this is the platform that's going to win, right?
Yeah,
So I think agency owners, you want to adopt our platform, you want to resell our platform, you want to white label it because we are simply the easiest and best, and we're giving you that experience. So that's why we're focused on that as a distribution channel, and that's why there are IPs, and that's why we're doubling down on people that are seriously doing this business, not just tire kickers, right? Yeah. And then I think the pharmacy owners is really exciting. Huge, huge opportunities to really disrupt something that's a real problem today, which is how to efficiently refill prescriptions in a way that's reliable, in a way that works, that doesn't like, these are businesses that, you can't kind of mess around with that. You have to get it
right.
right. And we happen to be SOC 2 and HIPAA compliant as well. So that helps.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Compliance is always
Yeah.
or sticky point, right? So I'm glad you guys are here. You're doing what you're doing. It's
We
been
have to stay very focused, my friend. That's the point.
for sure. It's been great having you, and lot of valuable takeaways from this session. So I'm very appreciative of your time and everything you shared. I'm sure our audience is going to love some of these golden nuggets of wisdom and just start thinking through more of these applications of voice AI. So appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ian. It was a pleasure. Oh, nice.